Welcome everybody to Forza Motorsport 7, and today we're taking a look at the fate of the Furious car pack, which features 10 cars, and yeah, you got this free if you got the Ultimate Edition, or you have to pay extra if you didn't. And yeah, I'm not going to look at 2 of the 10 cars purely because they are virtually stock. They've only got a couple of cosmetic changes to them, and they are the 2015 Jaguar F-Type R Coupe and the 2015 Mercedes-AMG GT S. So yeah, there's only a couple of cosmetic changes. I think the Jaguar has new wheels and the Mercedes has new wheels and a couple of stripes on it. So yeah, they're the only 2 I'm not going to look at. The rest I am going to, because they've all been changed in certain ways. And yeah, this is the first of those, the 1966 Chevrolet Corvette. Now it's stock in terms of engine, because it's still got the same 435 horsepower, 460 pounds-feet of torque. But it is lighter. It weighs 3,137 pounds, which is 247 pounds less than the 67 version of the Stingray that we have on this game. So that obviously means acceleration wise it is a little bit quicker, and it also means it handles better, which is also aided by the fact that it's got better underpinnings, because you can see it's got new rims, much larger tyres front and rear, and yeah, better suspension all round. So yeah, it's more of a handling upgrade than anything else on this car, because interior wise it's stock, and like I said, engine wise it's stock as well. Good thing about this game is you can look at cars in Forza Vista mode on tracks or in pit lanes. So yeah, let's take this car out and see what it can do. So yeah, I do really like this Corvette even stock, so with all the extra handling upgrades that they've given it, it should be pretty good as well. Yeah, as you can see, pretty much in terms of acceleration it's pretty much similar. Yeah, it does weigh less, but 240 odd pounds really isn't all that much in such an old car. Handling wise, it's obviously aided it a lot, because less weight obviously means less weight on those springs, less weight on the tyres, and less weight to pull around corners. So yeah, handling wise it's a lot better. Now we're going to be doing 1 lap per car on this Top Gear track, just because I think this Top Gear track is a good indication of what cars like to drive. It's got a perfect mix of decent corners and decent straights. So yeah, I can't quite remember this car in the Fate of the Furious film, but there are several that I do remember. But yeah, outside of the handling upgrades, it is business as usual, quite frankly. Which obviously means it's less of a challenge to drive than the normal Corvette, but outside of that, it's pretty good. So yeah, there we go. Probably one of the more ordinary cars out of the car pack though, to be honest, because a lot of the other cars are a bit more flash. So yeah, let's take a look at the next car. And this is the next car, the 1949 Chevrolet Fleetline Special. Now the Fleetline Special is not a car that we've ever had in a Forza game before, so to have a completely overhauled and modified version from a film is pretty weird, quite frankly, especially since it's got nothing to compare it against. But yeah, as you can see, it's been highly modified. It's got a huge turbocharger on it, which kind of makes it look like it's got a singular headlight. Yeah, no bonnet, no fenders, no bumpers, no grille, no doors, no rear seats, and yeah, no boot, because that can't be opened. So yeah, pretty much just a stripped down rat rod, quite frankly, and it's got plenty of power as well. 475 horsepower, 553 pounds-feet of torque, and I think it's a V8. It definitely looks like one, but because of the way this game again is set up like previous Forza Motorsport games, I don't know the cubic capacity of the engine, so yeah, I can't tell you that. But it does only weigh 2,900 pounds, so plenty of power for a car that doesn't weigh all that much. So yeah, hopefully this isn't going to handle like that Chevrolet Bel Air that we had in Forza Horizon 3, and is also in this game, because that could not handle despite looking pretty much dramatic in terms of how the standard car looks. So yeah, let's take it out there and see what it can do. This was used in the first scene in the Fate of the Furies, basically driving against a modified Ford Fairlane. So as you can see, pretty quick in terms of acceleration. And the numbers in terms of acceleration are pretty good, to be honest. 0 to 60 in 4.780 seconds, 0 to 109.9 seconds, and we're going to a top speed of 148 miles an hour. Which is pretty decent, but as you can see, handling wise, even though it's not as bad as that Chevrolet Bel Air that was part of the Hoonigan car pack, it's hardly a good handling car, to say the least. Especially in comparison to that Corvette, which, you know, had all those handling upgrades. It's, yeah, quite an understeery kind of vehicle. But one thing I do like about this car is the fact that it's got no doors, cause it shows off the fact that the driver actually changes the gear stick, which I never did in previous Forza games. Can't quite see it for some reason in the dark. I swear he used to do it. He did it when I tried out this car not long ago. But nonetheless, interesting vehicle. Can't say that it's a vehicle I'm going to drive all that much because it is a bit of a handful. Obviously some upgrades would be necessary. Personally, I'd have liked the standard Fleetline special in the game as well, as a, you know, an added bonus, because like I said, it's not a car that we've ever had in a game, and this is by far the oldest Chevrolet that we've ever had in a Forza game, so that would have been nice, but nonetheless, that's what it is. So yeah, let's move on to the next vehicle, which is completely different. And this is the next vehicle, the 2018 Dodge Demon, a car that plenty of people have been wanting in a Forza game for a while, because it's basically an uprated, drag-orientated version of the Hellcat. And yeah, it's got a hell of a lot more power than the Hellcat. 840 horsepower, 770 pounds-feet of torque from a 6.2 litre supercharged V8 engine. Which, yeah, that's a hell of a lot of power. That's 133 horsepower more than the Hellcat, which is a lot. And 120 pounds-feet of torque more as well. So yeah, bags more torque, bags more power. Like I said, it's more of a drag-orientated car because it actually has drag tyres, which aren't great for racing, surely, because yeah, they wear out fairly quickly, as I proved when I tried this car out earlier. But obviously, it's a car that obviously is more about power and style than handling, and yeah, the fact that it weighs 4,248 pounds kind of reinforces that, because that is a heavy vehicle, especially for a car that has this amount of power. So yeah, heavyweight, but no doubt going to be a fun car to drive. So let's take it out there and see what it can do. Now, yeah, a lot of power in this car, so don't judge me if I can't handle it. I will show you what I want about the tyres when we get towards the end of the lap. But as you can see, acceleration wise, incredibly quick. 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds, and 0 to 106 seconds dead. So incredibly quick car. It's apparently the quickest accelerating car to 100 in production right now, which is certainly a good title to hold. And yeah, it'll do 209 miles an hour, which is an incredible amount of speed for a car like this. But like I said, it is more about straight line speed than anything else, because it has those drag tyres on it, and yeah, it's really hard to get to stop, because not only has it got those drag tyres on it, but it's got a lot of weight, and yeah, usually going very fast when you're coming up to braking as well, so a lot of momentum to come to a halt. But yeah, it's a nice car to have on. It's one of the few 2018 cars we actually have on this game, and it's a shame that it has to be a DLC car for it to be like that, but yeah, nonetheless, cracking vehicle, but certainly one that you want to keep on the drag strip more than anything. Right, I'll show you what I was on about those tyres. As you can see, the front tyres are already wearing out. Already up to nearly, well, the front left is up to 22% and the front right is up to 20%. So yeah, don't recommend going on a long race with a car like this with those drag tyres, because you'll be going in the pit stop a fair amount. Nonetheless, a cracking vehicle, and yeah, like I said, one of the few 2018 vehicles on the game, which is always nice to see. So yeah, let's move on to the next car. And this is the next vehicle, the 1968 Dodge Charger. Now it has a 707 horsepower and 650 pounds-feet of torque. And now according to the Forza guys, it's from a Chevy LS V8. But I'm suspecting that it's from a Hellcat, because that's the exact same kind of horsepower and exact same kind of pounds-feet of torque from a Hellcat. And it also sounds like it's supercharged as well, so yeah, bit confusing on terms of the engine, but nonetheless it's plenty of power, and as you can see it's completely customised. Interior is completely different to a normal Charger, and so is the styling as well, which obviously has some of the stuff that was used in the film in the back of the car, which does add some weight, as it weighs 4,600 pounds, which is quite a lot, but it's got quite a lot of power as well. So yeah, let's see what it can do. Don't know why all that's appeared on the screen. Should not be there. Yeah, in terms of gearing, it's nowhere near like a Hellcat, but I suspect the engine is from a Hellcat because, you know, it's got the same kind of power and torque readings, and it also sounds like one as well. Nonetheless, this is a heavy vehicle. A lot of the weight is in the back because of all that movie prop stuff. Would be nice if you could remove that stuff to make it a little bit lighter. But nonetheless, it's still a quick car. 0 to 16, 4.2 seconds. 0 to 109 seconds. And going to top speed of 197 miles an hour, which is not too shabby whatsoever. But handling wise, a bit like the Fleetline Special, it does understeer a fair bit, which is a shame. But it's still got plenty of power, plenty of straight line speed. It's not awful to handle. It's just something that you're going to have plenty of experience driving to get the most out of it, quite frankly. Gearing is quite long on it. I suspect it's only got 3 speeds, 4 speeds max, because yeah, gearing is quite long. 100 mile an hour second gear is not something that is typical of a car. Nonetheless, cracking vehicle. Again, it's not the best of the car pack. I still feel like the Corvette and the Fleetline Special are a bit more unique, especially the Corvette in terms of the handling that has been given to it. But certainly a cracking vehicle, and no doubt a car that with a few upgrades would be even better. So yeah, let's take a look at the next car in the car pack. And this is the next one, the 2014 Local Motors Rally Fighter, a car that has been a staple of Forza games for a while now, but is upgraded from the movie, and yeah, it's got 630 horsepower, 577 pounds-feet of torque from a 6.2 litre supercharged V8 engine, which it means that this car has 200 horsepower more than the standard Rally Fighter and 153 pounds-feet of torque more, which offsets the fact that this car weighs 85 pounds more at 3,885 pounds. So yeah, obviously this is more of an off-road vehicle than any of the other cars in the car pack, but still got plenty of power, plenty of speed and acceleration, and yeah, looks pretty snazzy inside as well. So yeah, let's take this out there and see what it can do. So yeah, this isn't the fastest vehicle out of the car pack. In fact, in terms of the ones that have actually been modded, I think it's the slowest. But it's still got its plus points, as in it's got plenty of acceleration for starters, even though it is the slowest in comparison to, you know, other vehicles that are of this kind of type. It's easily one of the faster ones. But handling wise, you can certainly tell that it's, you know, a high riding off-roader. Quite a lot of body lean there. And a fair bit of understeer. Still, acceleration is good, like I said. 0 to 60, 4.820 seconds. 0 to 109.619 seconds. Going on to a top speed of 176 miles an hour, which is not too bad at all. A vehicle like this really would be more at home in something like Forza Horizon 3, quite frankly. Where it's got more challenging surfaces, etc. to try out. Certainly more challenging stuff to try out to give the suspension a run for its money. But once you get a hang of the handling, it is a perfectly reasonable handling car. Yeah, not massively different to the standard Rally Fighter, but different enough for it to be a car worthwhile trying. So yeah, if it'll let us, we'll move on to the next vehicle. So yeah, see you when we get to the next vehicle. And this is the next vehicle, the 1971 Plymouth GTX. Now this is not only the most powerful vehicle in the entire car park, but it's also the most powerful vehicle in the entire game, and also one of the most insane, because it has 2,000 horsepower and 1,615 pounds-feet of torque. Now I'm not sure about the size of the engine, but it is a V8 and it is turbocharged, and the car itself weighs 3,800 pounds, which is not all that much for a car that is not only huge, but also has a huge amount of power. So yeah, insane, quite frankly. Visually, new rims, new tyres, a few stripes on the bonnet, and got a roll cage inside. But interior wise, outside of the roll cage, it's pretty much normal. New normal dashboard, normal seats, etc. But you can't go in the boot, because this is a car for driving, not being practical. So yeah, let's take this insane thing out and see what it can do. So yeah, all that power will be asking a lot for my car that's made to have all that amount of power. But a standard car, slightly upgraded, it's asking a lot. As you can see by the revs, struggling to put that power down. But it's quite a high revving car, nearly 8,000 RPM. Oh dear, oh dear. Come on. Trying to stop a luxury liner. Oh dear, come on. Lighting up the one tyre there, which kind of shows how archaic it still is underneath. But yeah, in terms of speed, etc., it's yeah, really rather quick. But braking wise and handling wise, it's not the best. So yeah, 0 to 60. Oh dear. Well, I'll tell you in a second when we stop crashing. I'm gonna have to rewind that. Yeah, this car's not the easiest thing to drive, that's for sure. Especially when you're trying to talk. So yeah, slow in. Right, there we go. So yeah, 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, 0 to 104.9 seconds, and it'll go into a top speed of 269 miles an hour. So yeah, easily the fastest vehicle in terms of top speed on this car pack. And easily the most insane. You can feel the car moving around, you can even see the car lifting up from the front, because the chassis cannot take it, and even kind of the suspension. Quite frankly, I'm surprised that in real life this car didn't twist itself around, because yeah, that is a hell of a lot of horsepower and torque to deal with, even for a modern car, let alone a car from the early 70s. So yeah, absolutely insane, and easily the most insane car out of the car pack. So let's move on to the final two cars. So this is the second to last vehicle, the 2016 Subaru WRX STI. Now this is actually one of two Subarus, which is the second Subaru with the last car we'll be looking at. And yeah, it's quite heavily modified, quite frankly. Rims are new, bodywork is all new. As you can see, it's quite wider in terms of bodywork, bigger spoiler, and it's also got a hell of a lot more power as well. It's got 475 horsepower, 450 pounds-feet of torque, and the car itself only weighs 3,420 pounds, so plenty of power. But once again, because of the way the game is set up, I don't know the size of the engine or even how many cylinders it has. I imagine it would be still a boxer engine, but the size of it, I don't know. So yeah, let's take this car out there and see what it can do. Interior wise, it's all the same. Still even got the rear seats, in fact. So it's more of a car that's just heavily modified on the underneath, as you will now see. So yeah, acceleration is a lot better, because obviously it's got a lot more power. The standard one of these has only got around 300 horsepower, so you're at least talking about 100 horsepower plus more. But again, like the other vehicles in this car pack, you have to get used to the fact that it's handling wise, it's a lot different to how the stock version would handle. But nonetheless, it's still fast. 0 to 60, 3.777 seconds, 0 to 109.078 seconds, and it going to a top speed of 200 miles an hour, which is a lot quicker than the standard vehicle, that's for sure. But again, like I said, you have to get used to the handling of the vehicle, otherwise, yeah, you'll understeer off, because it's quite an understeer heavy car. Which is no surprise, quite frankly. You're asking those front wheels to deal with a hell of a lot more power than they did originally. And unless you're going fast like now, that spoiler really isn't going to be able to help you in terms of downforce and handling. So, yeah, as long as you keep the car quick in terms of speed and going around corners, you'll be fine. It's the slower corners like this that are the troublemaker, quite frankly. So yeah, solid all-round vehicle. Again, it's more about the underpinnings than anything else, but it's got enough subtle styling changes to make it a stand out from the standard vehicle. So yeah, let's move on to the final vehicle in the car pack. And this is the final vehicle, the 2013 Subaru BRZ. Now this has a hell of a lot more power than it did standard. It had around 200 horsepower originally. Now it has 400 horsepower and 406 pounds-feet of torque. Again, like previous cars, don't know the engine size because of the way the game's set up. But as you can see visually, it is remarkably different. Rims, bigger tyres, completely different bodywork, bumper, bonnet, side fenders, well, front fenders, rear spoiler. It's even got a roll cage inside. Interior wise at the front though, it is standard, but apart from that, everything else is different. So yeah, it's even different in terms of weight as well, 2,625 pounds. Pretty sure that's about, I think that's lighter. I'm not quite sure, never bothered looking up actually, sorry about that. But yeah, let's take it out there and see what it can do. I'm sure this vehicle is pretty quick, especially in comparison to the previous vehicle, because, well, the original version, should I say. Because even though that original version was pretty good, certainly didn't have all that much power, which I guess was part of the charm of the car. But yeah, a lot more power now. And better handling as well. In fact, this is probably one of the best handling cars out of the car pack, quite frankly. And it's also a pretty quick one as well. 0 to 60, 4.2 seconds. 0 to 100 in 9.220 seconds, and it going to a top speed of 191 miles an hour, which really isn't too shabby, especially considering it's one of the least powerful vehicles in the car pack. I think it is the least powerful car actually. So yeah, pretty damn quick, and handles pretty well as well. I'm sure if you gave it a few more modifications, you could have a really good handling car on your hands here, because it's got a good basis for you to do extra with it, because obviously it doesn't weigh all that much. It's got a pretty powerful engine already. So upgrade the handling a little bit extra and you'd have a cracking car on your hands. So yeah, this car pack is pretty decent. It is a bit of a shame that it's got two cars in it that are pretty much the same as the stock versions, but the other 8 are pretty good, though I will say that there are less here than there was in previous Fast and Furious car packs. Though I do like this BRZ, I do like the Plymouth GTX and Chevrolet Corvette. I like the Fleetline Special just because of how insane it looks. And then you've obviously got the Dodge Demon, which is practically the same as stock, and the Dodge Charger. So yeah, all around a solid car pack, and hopefully we get even more solid car packs in the future. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.